burnout is a real thing. And perhaps if you are getting too involved in your running, or maybe not just your running, but everything that goes with it, so let's just say wellness. Like there is a point when you can start doing too much. And what initially started as a good thing, so your wellness routine, your running, could be contributing to you getting burnt out and then just being done with it all. Like throwing the baby out with the bathwater. So that's what we're talking about today. Let's get into it. Okay, I came up with this idea. Well, I didn't come up with this idea at all. I actually read an article in Shape, like Shape Online, shape.com. And this article is titled, 6 Signs Your Wellness Habits Are Contributing to Burnout. And look, I think maybe a lot of us, if we're runners, I think maybe a lot of us follow a kind of wellness lifestyle. I don't know, that sounds silly now I say it out loud. But I think a lot of us try and do as well as we can to stay healthy, right? We like to be well, especially if the alternative is being unwell. And of course, we all know what burnout is. I'm sure you've experienced it in your life at some time or another. And what I want to avoid is burning out from something that I really enjoy most of the time. So for me, that's running, or more broadly, fitness. Like I don't want to burn out from going out for a run or being as fit as I can be, you know, within like the confines of my life. So we're going to talk about some of these things, and of course they encompass the whole of wellness, because Shape is not a running magazine. It is like a wellness magazine, I think. So we're going to talk about what the article says to avoid burnout. And of course we are going to mostly tie it into running. But as I already said, a lot of you probably incorporate a lot more wellness type activities in like your daily routine, and that could be to contribute to you being a better runner, or at the very least maybe a better person, healthier person, better partner, better parent. Like being healthy counts for a lot. So we really don't want to get burnt out from it. And the funny thing is that we are consistently, if we are online and we look at wellness type stuff or running type stuff, we are consistently just bashed over the head with 1, new products to try, or 2, new things to do that will make us even healthier. Like, have you ever been encouraged to drink an insanely high amount of water? And I mean like a specific amount. So X number of ounces a minute for every minute that you're awake, something like that. Now, the article brings up a more wellness-oriented perspective, like being encouraged to go from bed to your yoga mat. Of course, we have to journal all our thoughts and feelings. We have to spend time meditating. Of course, we have to wear sunscreen before we go out. But then we also have to do a whole skincare routine on top of that. Look, if you run, getting your 10,000 steps a day is probably pretty easy, or at least on the days that you run. But if today's a day off from running, and perhaps you're just very busy, and you don't get that required 10,000 steps a day, watch out, like the whole house of cards is going to fall down. Now, have you ever felt that your wellness routine or just doing stuff to make you healthy, does it cut into your sleep schedule? If that's the case, and remember just last week or the week before I made a video on runners and their sleep and how, again, this is going to come as a surprise to no one, but sleep, it turns out, is pretty beneficial to us. But if your whole wellness routine starts impacting your sleep negatively, so you stay up late to, I don't know, take a cycling class, or I don't know, like do a new exfoliating face scrub. I don't know, but if you're staying up too late in order to do these wellness things, then you're probably negating some of the benefits by not getting enough sleep. Also, do you ever feel obligated to do any of these things? Do you ever feel obligated to go for your run? And this, I think, is probably pretty common, because I know with a little self-reflection, I know there is probably a little obligation that I feel when it comes to my daily runs. Now, I do take off 1 day a week without question. Sometimes I take off 2 days, but on the days when I'm supposed to run, I think I can say that I do feel obligated to go for that run. Now, is it that I feel obligated because I know I'm going to feel better for the rest of my day? I would like to think so. Because if it is a true obligation, then it can really take away from the fun. And I think that's what we want to avoid. So what I'm saying is, even though it says that feeling obligated is a bad thing, if you feel obligated in the way that I feel obligated, you're probably on the right track. But I actually have no idea if that's true. So you're going to have to make that decision for yourself. So anyway, if you are starting to feel burnout, or you start to notice some signs of potential burnout, because even before we start feeling burnt out and all those negative feelings that come with it, it's possible that we could recognize a few signs that show that we're heading in that direction. And that's where we need to take action before we actually get to the point when we're burnt out. Because once you get burnt out, it's very difficult to get back. It's like hitting the wall in a marathon. If you let yourself get to that point, like I tell you, it's going to be a real struggle in order to get back to being fully fueled and ready to go and finish your race. So the first sign, and we've already talked about it, and that's the feeling of obligation. So are you feeling obligated to go for your run or do whatever wellness thing you do? But are you feeling obligated to go for your run rather than feeling energized and excited to go out and do what you love to do? This is worth a little bit of a deeper dive, because I think your goals have to be taken into account. Now look, if you are just not training for anything, so you're just going out and you're running for health, for fitness, maybe so you can feel good about yourself, then you may feel energized when it comes time to go for that run. But If you are training for a race, let's say you're training for a marathon. Now look, I know not everyone is going to be training for a marathon, but I'm using the marathon as an example because when you get into the later stages of marathon training, that cumulative fatigue starts to add up. And you've done so many workouts and you've done so many long runs. And this is all by design, but by the time you get to the end, when you are just about to enter that taper phase, my friends, you are feeling exhausted. And I am pretty sure that most of us that get to that stage in marathon training have a sense of obligation towards our future goal, right? I don't think that's what the article is talking about being a negative thing. In fact, I would say that that is kind of a good obligation. You know, you've set yourself a goal and you are rising to the challenge. You know, it's also the same sort of obligation that we might feel when we have to go to work because, you know, we have to pay the mortgage or we have to put food on the table. If we don't often feel energized, we feel more obligated for those things. And I think the same thing can be said of marathon training, at least later in that marathon training build. So I think that was a bit of a tangent. But anyway, if you are just a normal runner and you're going out for your normal training runs and you're not feeling energized, you're not feeling like, yeah, this is something I really want to do, you could be heading down the road towards burnout. Now, I realize that this article and what we're talking about burnout, it might be more appropriate for people that are just going out and running and doing wellness things for their own well-being. Like they're doing it to make themselves feel better. And for those people, like we have to be kind to ourselves. Like if we're not feeling like it one day for whatever reason, we have to be kind to ourselves and give ourselves a day off or do something else. Maybe something that sparks joy. Now, again, if you are a runner training towards anything, it's a lot more difficult to be kind to yourself because we have to follow the plan. But if that is you, and it's been me, I'm telling you guys, like one missed workout, it's not really going to make a difference. 2 missed workouts, it's not going to make a difference. Look, and if you're not kind to yourself, if you don't give yourself that day off when it's really needed, then you could very well be saying to yourself, you know what? I am so self-disciplined. I am going to be a good runner because I didn't give in and didn't take that extra day off. I am going to be a great yogi. I'm going to be a great yogi because I got right out of bed and I did 3 hours of savasana. Yes. I'm disciplined. Guys, a lot of us, and I have been there, but a lot of us confuse rigidity with self-discipline. But we can be very rigid about doing what we think we should be doing. And we call it self-discipline and we pat ourselves on the back and we go off feeling really great until we're not feeling so great. So we already mentioned sleep in the beginning, but signs of burnout can come from when you are not prioritizing sleep. Of course, I'm going to use myself as an example because I start work very early. So I do have to set my alarm very, very early if I want to get that run in during my day. And this comes down to knowing myself because I know I am not going to feel like going for a run after work, so I choose to get less sleep in order to get my run in. Now, with me, and this is where I make excuses for myself, I think it comes down to like knowing yourself, because I know that I'm not going to want to go for that run in the evening, and I know that I would prefer to go to bed earlier so I can wake up early, even if, and I will admit this, even if I know on some nights I am not getting enough sleep. Like when my alarm goes off and I just feel like poop, it's pretty obvious that, you know, I should be getting more sleep, but I don't do it. I get up because I'm rigid. I mean, self-disciplined. Anyway, that's a bad sign. Could mean that I'm heading towards burnout, but we'll see. At this point, I've managed to keep it up for about 16, 17 years. So maybe I found a balance, or maybe I'm just on a very slow road to burnout. No, I'm totally kidding. I have experienced burnout over the years when I have just pushed it too far. Like it becomes clear. Like once you get to that burnout stage, there's no second guessing it. Okay, the next sign of burnout is that you are ignoring your body's signals. And I don't just mean being tired because you're setting the alarm a bit early. I mean, are you noticing yourself becoming more irritable or experiencing some anxiety? That's another sign that you may be going overboard with your running routine or your whole wellness routine. And you know, it doesn't have to just present as anxiety or anxiety that we actually notice. But you know, you might have trouble focusing at work. You might feel like tired and weary throughout your day when you would normally be feeling alive and peppy. Or, and I hesitate to even say this because I think a lot of you are going to be feeling this way, or you're experiencing like muscle fatigue from too much exercise or insufficient rest days. Guys, I have to say, I bet most of you have experienced that. So I do have to say, because this is me, I often feel muscle fatigue, especially after I do a hard workout. Like I definitely feel muscle fatigue and I feel tired during the day. I don't think it's just one thing that we have to focus on, and that means that we're on the road to burnout. No, it's a culmination. Of course, if you read this article and you listen to what it says, then I could be on the road to burnout. And the more I talk about it in this video, I think maybe I am heading down that path. But no, I don't think so. I think I'm doing it right. Even though I have exhibited several of the signs that they've mentioned in this article, I am still going to maintain that it's because I'm self-disciplined, not rigid. Oh boy, this whole shape article could be based off me. The article also mentions that a sign of burnout could be that your social life is suffering. Look, I I don't really know how appropriate this is, because it's kind of like a running joke, isn't it? That at least us runners, we go to bed early and we don't go to social events because we have to get up early and run in the morning. Yeah, it's true, that happens. So is your social life suffering? Does that mean it's a sign of burnout? Or does it mean that you just really like running? I would argue for the latter, but I don't want anyone to listen to me, because after reading this article, I'm realizing that I don't have a good track record with avoiding burnout related activities or feelings. And the next thing that Shape magazine or Shape Online says that could be a sign that you're heading towards burnout is that you're not seeing results. And look, and they do point out that goal setting isn't a requirement for wellness. Like, we can go out and we can just go for a run without setting a goal and actually trying to get better. Now, when you start, you are going to get better. But if you've been running for a while, as I have, like, you may not see much improvement. You may not see any improvement. In fact, you may see regression. And that, it turns out, is also a sign that burnout could be coming. And you already know what I'm about to say. Like, I don't feel like I'm moving forward. I'm not becoming a better athlete as I get older. Does that mean that I am moving towards burnout? Or does it mean that I'm just getting older and my goals are changing? If you read the article, it's going to say I'm heading towards burnout, which combined with all the other things that say I'm heading towards burnout probably means I'm heading towards burnout. Anyway, I think the point of the article is saying that if you become too rigid in your wellness routine, and that adds stress to your life, so just you are becoming stressed because you want to do more wellness related things, like you want to drink these horrible smoothies, and you want to do an obscene amount of running or just exercise in general, like that added stress could counteract the results that you're seeing from your running, from your exercise. And look, also, if you're getting more stressed because of stuff that you're doing to try and make yourself better, it's going to sneak around the back door and actually make you sick, because stress lowers our immune system, so you're probably going to get sick. If you're doing too much, you could have some overuse injuries and you're going to end up injured. Like, it's not a good recipe. And then the article actually wraps up by giving us 6 products, or it recommends 6 products to help simplify your routine. But of course, you and I, we don't need to hear about any of these products. So this is where we're going to end it. And if you have made it to this point in the video, I want you to drop that emoji, that face with like the swirly eyes. And those swirly eyes are indicating stress. So I want you to add the stressed faced emoji if you've made it to this point in the video. And also drop a comment. Let me know if you've ever been burnt out from running, from exercise, from wellness. And do you fit any of these signs that say you are heading down the path of burnout? Guys, it's Matt B. This has been a video on how running and wellness can lead to burnout. Actually, I don't think that's what this video was about. But either way, be kind, be happy, run well. I'll see you in a couple of days.